kids shouldn't be talking about gender dysphoria or mental illness. I don't really think fondly of kids on YouTube to begin with, but if they're going to be here, the last thing we need them to do is talk about something they can't possibly understand, and today, I'll be covering Zinco Mintel, who proves this well enough.
So some kid named Cinnable made a video about gender and I need to test my jealousy. Thanks!
Hey guys, your old pal Cinnable here.
Hey guys, your old pal Childhood Music 666 here. Also, don't start a chain or else I will massacre someone.
Hey guys, it's Pink Robot here. In all seriousness though, allow me to address the abhorrent audio balancing throughout the video. While I'll do my best to understand what you're saying throughout your commentary, there is a very high chance I may misunderstand what you're saying because your point gets lost under the intense amount of background noise that we hear. I recommend getting a new microphone or sending your audio through a noise filter. One or the other.
And today I'm making a video about how many genders there are.
Yeah, 2, dos, dio, ni, shinaya.
Why did you choose to jump the gun on this? Cinnable hasn't even begun explaining his point. You're just interjecting to put your own bias into the mix without hearing him out. I know Zinco does this throughout this video, and there are better examples of him doing this, that wouldn't change the problems throughout. Now, Zinco, as Cinnable is going to explain, he too, agrees that there are only 2 genders.
My stance is that no, directly there's only 2 genders.
So overall, he agrees with you despite being more nuanced with his view that he is using this video to elaborate on. Thus making your interjection overall pointless, as you essentially agree with a separate part of the video. This is something I typically notice with children commentators, they're really quick to jump on a point without hearing it out in full. I also notice some more adult commentators doing that too, but that'll be a story for another day.
Yes, this is the same thing that I got into a fight with Cole, aka conservative kid.
One thing, did you actually physically hurt each other? No, then it isn't a fight, it's an argument or a debate. And another thing...
That's only one idea of what a fight is considered to be. However, looking into the actual definition, you would see that one definition reads, quarrel or argue. Which is the type of fight that Cinnable would most likely be talking about if not fisticuffs.
But anyway, I'm going to explain my stance and why I believe this stance. My stance is that no, directly there's only 2 genders.
Oh shit, you actually gotta wait directly. What do you mean by that?
Give him time to explain, child.
But technically, if you think about it, there actually are multiple genders.
To the end.
Are you going to elaborate on this fact, Zinco? No? Well, this is a problem because Cinnable disagrees with what it is you're saying, so unless you elaborate, no one has to take this point seriously, as you're essentially disregarding what they say before they elaborate.
Now my stance is that there's 2 genders, 2 sexes, many identities, and many stats.
What do you mean by many identities? You identify as male, female, non-binary, and gender fluid, you believe in that. 4 or 3 isn't many, stop!
Identity, the fact of being who or what a person or thing is. The characteristics determining this. A close similarity or affinity. One can identify as a lot of different things. You can argue how autistic or spurgy it is, but given the whole list of Tumblr genders merely existing, it's obvious that people do identify as more than 4 identities. You could argue how valid these genders are, given that there's no scientific proof that any more than male or female exist, but you choose to focus on piling on your no more than 2 genders point onto this shitfest and continue providing a point on why kids don't understand gender.
A gender is boy, girl, how you feel on the inside, just like the definition says. Your sex is your biological genes when it comes to boy or girl.
Not wrong, but what definition? Proof? None on a screen or in the description. I could look it up, but I should be providing your sources for you.
Typically, I'd be all for this point. Showing things on the screen for your evidence is a good thing to do, and keeping your evidence in the description is a nice alternative. However, in this instance it misses the original point, being that Seenable's video is to explain what he thinks of gender, so this is going off of his thought process of what gender and sex are, not what the actual definitions are, so demanding proof and evidence from these claims is moot.
Now, identity is this is a pretty weird example, but someone who identifies as a jacket.
Are you kidding? I have to be being trolled. Where are the cameras? But seriously, how could you identify as a jacket? You could identify as gender fluid, trans, or just a boy or a girl, but elaborate on how you can identify as a jacket again.
By claiming that you're a jacket. Not that this really matters since they were merely using it as an example to explain what they mean by identity. This also further elaborates on the point on how Seenable came to the conclusion that there are many identities as opposed to your four. They even claim it as a weird example, but it, hypothetically, could happen if someone decides to call themselves a jacket. It's stupid, but it could happen. Even taking the hypothetical off the table, there are also people who tend to go the special snowflake route and identify as non-binary, where they choose not to identify as either male or female, which opens a lot of the possibilities to the Tumblr genders that Seenable is presumably arguing in favor for. That's about the end of the video. My advice for you, Zinco, is to give yourself time to grow and learn about what you're actually talking about before you argue something as touchy as identity disorders. Because here you just firmly thrust your viewpoints into the mix without actually arguing anything Seenable had brought to the table. It was either that or you were attempting to falsify definitions to make Seenable's video less credible than it would have been had you not done that. Or so I think. Again, it's really hard to understand you at points due to your audio being abysmal, not helped by your mumbling. Which is something else I highly recommend you work out in your future videos. Because if your points can't get through to your audience, then no one is going to be able to understand what the fuck you're talking about. Anyway, Pink Robot, powering down. Until next time.